What is going on? Today we have a new NFT DeFi project, and you know how NFT and DeFi are just going crazy. So a project that combines the two is always something interesting, and it's called Monsta Party. Okay, and we have the developer, the CEO, the mastermind behind it all. His name is Byron, and we're gonna really shake him down for questions. Be like, hey, you know what? We're gonna ask you the most scrutinizing, hard-hitting, hot seat questions that we could possibly come up with, because we need to figure out, hey, are you a scam? Is this something that we could spend our time and our money and effort into, or do we just need to move on and find out? Look, this is the best opportunity for you and me to figure out what projects are worth our while to invest in. You know what I'm saying? All these other coins out there, all these other YouTubers, they be just kind of reviewing projects with no enthusiasm, no real insight. They just get paid and they don't care about anyone. Look, this is an opportunity for us to just really ask the precise questions that we want to know. If you're new to this channel, my name is Aaron. I'm on a journey to as many Bitcoin as possible while helping you to your first. And so one way I do that is just to bring you these developer interviews. Okay, I'm not your financial advisor, so if you make money here, that's all you. If you lose money, heck, you can blame me. Whatever, I don't care, but it's really your fault anyway. Look, you always have to do your own research. And I just think this is the best thinking research that we could possibly do. I have a lizard brain, gorilla arms, and diamond hands exploring the wild west of cryptocurrency with a whole bunch of other cowboys. If you're out there, hit the subscribe button down below. And if you're feeling generous, give us a like button on this video. Okay, so as we get into this project, you got to know like my heart behind it here. But whenever I do these developer interviews, I get compensated for these things, but it's only so that I could ask them exactly what I want to ask them. I don't want to read the website. It's just like everyone's just coming up with, just stories or just some kind of fake statistics or whatever. I want to ask the developer, hey, what in your belly makes you want to do this thing? And so we have Byron from Monsta Party, this NFT, new NFT project that's hitting the streets here. Byron, welcome to the channel.
Hey, Aaron, thank you very much for having me on.
Hey, I'm glad to have you on. Look, at first, right off the bat, I got to ask this question. Usually I have people dox themselves, show their face, show who they are on the interviews here. And you are obviously not that. Could I ask you why you choose not to dox yourselves?
Yes, certainly. So this was really a bit of a hangover from when we actually started with Cake Monster. Monsta Party, as you introduced, it's the NFT project. It's a side project to the DeFi protocol, Cake Monster. And just, I've been in crypto for quite a while, and the kind of like the group of people who all came together to develop Cake Monster all had a similar viewpoint on crypto, and we like that it's decentralized and anonymous, et cetera, et cetera. So we started building that project. And basically, we did consider going the corporate route and whatnot, but it was going to take a little too much time, so we didn't go that route. We stayed anonymous, and then it's been that way ever since. We considered still going the corporate route a little bit further down the line, but it's just not something that we ever got around to, basically. But yeah, so fundamentally enjoy the decentralized and anonymous aspect of crypto, and particularly as we also found over time that there are a number of sort of nefarious characters within crypto, and particularly in DeFi, particularly in lower cap coins and whatnot, and it just felt a little bit more comfortable to remain anonymous should those people wish to find out who we are, etc.
It's crazy sometimes. The crypto space can be so toxic, and you don't know who you're dealing with on the other side of the computer. And so, I mean, I'm not sure if you have a family or not. I'm sure you have loved ones, and so you don't want to be able to like paint this target on yourself. And I totally get that, and I fully get the whole. For me personally, I see that like I'm KYCing myself too much, especially to my governments, right? And so they're trying to get too much information on me. And so I love the pseudonymous nature of DeFi. I love it anyway, decentralized. So it's all good. We just want to know. I just had to ask you that question. I want to know like what is it that makes you tick? But let's move on to the more important thing. Monsta Party, okay, Monsta, how I pronounced it in 7th grade with my tilted hat and listen to 50 Cent. Monsta Party is an NFT project. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And maybe we need to go into like some context of the DeFi. So tell me what Monsta Party is and what you're trying to accomplish here.
Okay, so Monster Party, it's essentially one of these generative art NFT projects. Um, as I mentioned, it's a side project to Cake Monster, so it already has this underlying DeFi protocol backing it up. Um, it would be remiss of me not to explain what Cake Monster is, because Cake Monster is actually a very special protocol. It's probably one of the most sophisticated financial instruments, but certainly deflationary protocols in the world. Um, in the sense that it's a deflationary protocol, meaning that the transaction taxes are burned, and also used for other things. But unlike reflection tokens, say like SafeMoon or whatever, we actually use the transaction tax to buy a secondary reserve asset, and that's PancakeSwap's token. Now, this results in us having sort of a separation of concerns. So, all the transaction tax is used to buy the secondary reserve asset, which builds an underlying price floor in an asset that's separate from the protocol asset, which is Monster. And this actually results in our deflationary protocol being immune from implosion, as long as cake's valuable, of course, which every other deflationary protocol cannot make that claim. So, like SafeMoon or other ones where they're still reflecting in their own token. And eventually, if you run some simulations and whatnot, the supply gets monopolized, et cetera, and there's a supply shock. And what the result of that would inevitably be would be a currency implosion. Now, that's impossible with Cake Monster, and there's no other protocol on BSC like it, right?
So you're saying that it when you tax, right? I believe it's 5% tax, and 2.5 goes one way, and 2.5 goes the other way, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so 2.5 goes to buying up more cake. And the reason why you're saying that is that it increases the price floor. The underlying base asset of Monsta is then cake, a more, one of the most valuable coins on BSC. And it creates it immune for implosion, meaning that, hey, you face other things like in SafeMoon, like supply shock when supplies monopolize and whales are dumping and all that kind of stuff. But you have this other secondary reserve asset in cake, and that's why it makes it so sophisticated.
Correct. Yes. And basically, what I didn't end with was that this reserve, this cake reserve, this secondary reserve, every monster holder at a certain point can claim their share of this cake reserve proportional to
Oh.
their monster holdings. Um, Now, that point is either A, when the supply reaches 1 million, it started at 10 billion, when it reaches 1 million, or after 2 years. Um, yeah, and that's basically it. That's the Cake Monster protocol in a nutshell. There are lots of other intricacies as well. Um, basically things within the protocol to ensure that the supply does deflate, because that's
Mhm.
essential. We need it to deflate in order for the holders to be able to claim their share.
So when it drops to a certain level of supply and or it gets to 2 years from now, that's when people can claim.
Two years from when the protocol started.
Got it. 2 years from when the protocol started, which is when did it start?
Almost 6 months ago, 5 to 6 months.
Okay, so you got a year and a half left.
Yeah,
People can claim their level cake. So you're at least in it for a year and a half longer.
correct. Yeah,
Awesome. Okay. So that is the DeFi protocol that the base Monster Party is based off of. Is That's Cake Monster, and that's the DeFi protocol there, right? Now, how does Monster Party? What's the relationship here between that and Monster Party and Cake Monster?
okay. So Monster Party is just a side project. It still has the same cute, memeable monster character in various different flavors and whatnot. Um, but it ties in with the protocol as well. So basically, any interactions or anything that's done within Monster Party will benefit the Cake Monster protocol. So, for example, the the proceeds from Monster Party, 50% of those will go directly to buying Monster from Cake Monster Protocol and burning it. So obviously that's going to result in price appreciation for Monster. Another 30% of the proceeds will buy cake and add that to the cake vault. And the other 20% basically for development and marketing and some team funds and whatnot. So that it started as hey, let's just do one of these generative art NFT projects. They're pretty popular at the moment. Everyone loves the monster character, and we'd actually, I mean, I don't know if we have the record. You wouldn't really know, but for sticker variations in Telegram of the monster, like we just had so many, like just a ridiculous amount, like hundreds and hundreds of stickers. So, like a designer slash animator DM'd me on Discord and asked whether I'd thought about doing an NFT project. So like, yeah, why not? It'll be fun. But I found that to be a little boring. And to be honest, the whole sort of like ethos around Cake Monster team, the community, and things is really about creativity and innovation and that kind of thing. So we were like, okay, let's try and push this forward a little bit and go play to earn. And rather than, and so it's taken us quite a bit longer to develop, because rather than sort of doing what the majority of these play to earn NFT projects do, which is just develop the artwork, get the money, and then develop the game aspect afterwards. We've sort of taken that first step down the play to earn route and have gamified it somewhat. So there's an app where you can feed your monster, and your monster gains XP points, and that it can be integrated into metaverses and whatnot. So we've integrated with one metaverse so far, which is Oasis, which is like a cool looking sort of retro pixelated metaverse. Mm-hmm. And basically your NFT, which is, quite nice artwork, that'll also have an associated 48 pixel sprite that you can run around their metaverse with. And then, of course, in the future, we're planning on more integrations in different metaverses, and have different flavors of your monster. And the feeding will cost a small fee. That money will basically be used, it'll be BNB, of course, be used to buy monster. So that'll help with deflation and whatnot and volume. And then it's automatically distributed to all NFT holders. And the amount of the dividends are distributed proportionally based on the amount of XP that your NFT has. Then there's lots sort of planned in the future as well, in terms of, or I wouldn't say planned, because we're quite fluid with what we do. Crypto's so dynamic and changes so quickly that we don't like to plan too far into the future, and we sort of like have a very loose roadmap. But we've been thinking about various different arcade games and whatnot to sort of increase the play to earn aspect. We were thinking about our own metaverse, but we're sort of veering towards perhaps it's really better to integrate with as many metaverses as possible, because then it's, like I say, some people prefer pixelated graphics, others prefer nice looking realistic 3D graphics, others prefer perhaps like cyberpunk style, something like that. And so we sort of backtrack a little bit on our own metaverse idea, but to cut a long story short, this release is going to be the sort of the first step of play to earn. You can actually class it as play to earn. You can already play a little bit and earn, and then there'll be many more steps in the future as well to elaborate on that as well.
So you've got play to earn Monster Party. It started off like a designer messaged you and said, "Hey, do you guys want to start an NFT project?" And you guys said, "Yeah, sure." And that's how it all started.
Basically, yeah. I mean, he DM'd me on on Discord, and I don't even use Discord really. No, well, not for Cake
Yeah,
Monster. I'm all in Telegram, and I saw it, and usually I ignore every single DM because I get so many of them.
sure.
And I'm used to them being scams, and then we got
Oh
talking,
yeah.
and he's a really nice
Oh yeah.
guy.
You telling me that's whew, there's so many of them. Jeez.
Yeah, and then it just turned out to be a really really awesome guy, talented animator. Um, so then we're like, yeah, let's do it.
Nice. And so you started off with just the designs with this designer, and then you said, okay, we gotta step it up a little bit. This can't just be art for the sake of art, right? You're trying to add like a little bit of utility to it, and so you ended up. I'm not sure what you're talking about here, honestly. Is feeding the NFT and then gaining experience points from feeding it. Is that did I hear that?
Yep, that's right. So you feed
What
and it grows essentially.
what do you feed? What do you feed it? Do you feed it carrots? What are you feeding monsters?
Pancakes.
Pancake. For real? You feed them pancake?
No, well, we feed it. The thing that you actually feed it on screen is a pancake. Um, yeah,
What what does that mean? Like feed it? What do I give my like the coin to it?
you pay like I'm not entirely certain about the exact numbers, but something very small, like a dollar or 50 cents or something like that. It
Okay.
feeds it a pancake, a dollar or 50 cents in BNB. That BNB is used
Okay.
to buy Monster, the protocol token, Cake Monster token.
Okay.
You gain XP, and then that monster's distributed to all NFT holders. And then the amount of XP that you have will unlock certain things. I didn't mention this actually, but say at 1,000 XP, then you'll have this pixelated sprite that you can run around. A certain amount of XP more, you'll have access to something else and that kind of thing, and be able to um, participate in quests in the Oasis
And,
metaverse and earn
and
tokens there, etc., etc.
I think I'm missing something. So there must be like an app or a web browser or a DApp, right?
Yeah, we've built it.
Okay. Got it. Okay, got it. And so on that DApp, I'm going to connect my wallet. When I connect my wallet, it's going to find that I have my Monsta NFT in there. And there's going to be a little pancake on there that I just click, and then it signs my wallet saying, "Yeah, do you want to feed this thing?" I said, "Yeah, okay." So it's feeding it like just like little pancakes on the DApp.
Correct. Yeah. So there's a
Okay, I'm thinking like I'm handing him, I'm buying cake, and I'm handing the cake because cake's at $18 a coin right now. I'm like, what is happening? Okay, okay, I think I'm following you. I think I'm following. I need to probably load it. Look, guys, if you're not following along with me or whatever, check the links in the description. Okay, so you really fully understand what we're talking about here, especially when it comes to NFT projects. You want to check out the artwork. You want to check out how it works. All right, and then so when you feed it these pancakes, it gains experience at different tiers of experience. Then it unlocks different accessibilities, right? Like different, if you're going through different metaverses or whatever, it just unlocks different things. And we don't have to go through them specifically. You guys can check that out on the description or on the website. Now, you said that you joined Oasis, and I think for clarity, that's projectoasis.io. I had to look it up here. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, and so like it's this pixelated. It looks like a little MMORPG pixelated, but you're walking around with your monster, pixelated monster on this metaverse. That's correct?
That's correct. Yes.
I've never done like a metaverse thing. The only one I've done is like Decentraland. So I've never bought an NFT from one project and moved it over to like another NFT or another metaverse project, which is this is kind of amazing
Yeah.
that you could do that.
Yeah, man, that's really what we thought. It was like, how can we? Again, as you mentioned, it's like I'm not a fan of these purely generative art NFT projects. I sort of get the point of it, and everyone has an avatar, and then you sort of become part of this club and whatnot, and that's fine and nice and everything. But I it doesn't interest me that much. And so
Yeah.
we always wanted to add utility. And so we had this little play to earn thing. And we're always looking to add things that will benefit the Cake Monster protocol fundamentally. That underpins
Yeah.
everything. And that's the beauty about this NFT project, is that it can only strengthen the Cake Monster protocol as well. And these
Right.
NFTs are always backed up by this Cake Monster protocol, which is, the best in class. Um, but yeah, so we have this our own like play to earn aspects and whatnot, and then like I said, we were going to develop these arcade games, and then Oasis were there. And we're like, oh, all right, yeah, cool. I wonder if we can integrate with theirs, and you have your own sprite, and they're a really cool, nice bunch of people, hardworking and whatnot, friendly. Very easy to work with, and so we thought, yeah, let's give it a go with them. But yeah, and just to go back to the DApp you were talking about, yeah, so we developed this DApp, and in there you've got your NFT, and you can feed it and stuff, and there's some nice animations and music and whatnot. We've also got developed our own sort of like rarity tracker as well for people who are interested in the rare traits and whatnot, because there's nothing really sufficient on BSC. So.
Gotcha. So let me load up the screen here for Cake Monster. And is the DApp. So here's what we're talking about. Where do I log in for the DApp here?
We've not released the DApp yet, but
Got it. Okay.
this morning I pretty much finished the design tweaks on it. So it's almost ready to at least be out there in the wild.
Okay, gotcha. And so, all right. So when we have, like, let's say we'll have like a cake, a monster that looks like one of these guys, right? How do I get involved? How do I get it?
Yeah, so when it comes to launch day, at the top of this screen, one of those buttons, or there'll be another button that'll take you to the app. But basically, within the app, there'll be a page where you can do the minting. Then once you've minted, you'll basically mint an egg um, that sort of like bounces around and whatnot. And at some point, randomly within the next few days of your mint, that will hatch, and then you'll see your NFT. So basically, people's eggs will hatch at different points throughout the following 3 days from minting.
It it will hatch, like it'll change in my wallet.
Yeah. So you'll initially see a
What? That's kind of amazing. Like I didn't know NFTs could do that.
yeah I hadn't seen that before. I'm sure there are other projects that have done it, but yeah, I thought that'd be a fun and sort of like nice little gamification aspect.
I mean, it is cool because now it opens up like a whole bunch. I didn't know that an NFT can change. That opens up like so okay. So just kind of fair warning here. My stance on NFTs is like a little bit negative. Okay, I'm like, why do I own a JPEG, and how do I own a freaking, I don't want to own like a pixelated piece of crap. I look at these other things. I'm looking at V Friends. I love Gary V, but that thing is ugly. Like those things that are producing is ugly. And I'm looking at all these other projects. I'm like, why are people spending whole Ethereum for these things? It's crazy to me. But I get the NFTs. I get what NFTs can do. I don't get that they're being used in this way, but I get that they can do. And I like that NFTs people are like play to earn. I really like play to earn stuff because it gives a utility, and it gives like the fun factor, which I think is very important. I think especially in today's internet culture, I think that's super important. Um, so I'm like half and half with this thing. But if you could have an NFT change, right? What how else could this be applied if not just to Monster Party, right? Like how could the NFT change from egg to monster and just like this randomly generated monster? Isn't there like higher use cases for this? Not saying that you have to do this, but I'm saying like if it, you know what I'm saying? Like that's shocking to me.
Yeah, I'm not the contract solidity dev, so my answer might be rather sort of insufficient and mediocre here, but I believe that the eggs will be all the metadata for the eggs and whatnot will be hosted on our own server, and upon hatching, the metadata for the actual monster itself will be then uploaded to IPFS, which is immutable, and so then it could never change, basically. Um,
So could you essentially put in like if you feed it this many like pancakes, it gets to this level, then it evolves? Is that even possible?
we can do that kind of thing, and that's basically been part of the discussion, and was really one of the first things that we kind of thought of doing was, yeah, when you get to a maximum of 10,000 PXP, we call it PXP rather than XP for party points, party experience points, whatever, because
Oh,
it's Monster Party.
that's funny.
Um, that you then get a generation one party monster. And
Got it.
perhaps those people, we've floated around ideas that those people get to sort of like sit on the board of directors on the DAO or something like that. That's not
Oh,
guaranteed
that,
that we're going to do a DAO, but we've also floated that idea too.
that's pretty cool. So, as far as getting these things, I saw that your launch date was November 2, but you delayed it, right, till November 9.
Yes,
Why is that?
just the logistics of doing what we're going to do with the launch. Now, I haven't mentioned it. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the amazing thing about this project, uh, one of the amazing things, um, but the most amazing thing for me is that, everyone talks about these NFTs and whatnot, and I'm like you, man. Like for for a long while, I just didn't understand NFTs. I didn't understand why people would buy these JPEGs that have no utility at all. And people explained it to me, and I was like, yeah, that's not doing it for me. And to be honest, I only ever really came around to understanding just because I bought some and sold some. And I came to the understanding that people just buy and sell these things. It doesn't matter if there's no utility. And I was like, okay, I'll just roll with
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
it. It makes money, so I'm going to roll with it. But for
Yeah,
me, I
yeah,
couldn't develop something like that, and neither could the rest of the team. We're all kind of a bit old school like that. And we're also not making tens of millions of dollars like some of these people are. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's to a detriment. But basically, we had to create something that had utility. But anyway, some of the explanations that I was getting from people about these generative art projects, NFT projects, were that it's the historical significance of them. Um, like they're the first ever in this certain thing, and
yeah.
therefore that's going to give them value in the future. Well, maybe, maybe not. I mean, I'm not necessarily convinced that you can assert that something's going to have future value just because it was the first to do something.
Yeah.
I could be the first to take a shit somewhere, and
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's going to be valuable in the future. You know what I mean? But basically, everyone talks about historical significance and stuff. So I was like, right, how can we make this historically significant? So what we're actually doing is launching it into space. So we are gonna be the first generative art NFT project in space. And like I say, everyone's talking about historical significance with NFTs, and so I'm thinking, for me, there's nothing more historically significant than being the first generative art NFT project in space.
What do you mean? What do you mean in space? What does that mean?
so so basically, we contracted a company to basically send the project into space, and the first time the NFTs will ever be revealed will be in space. So there'll be three launch vehicles.
In where? In outer space? In the physical world, outer space?
It'll be around. It depends because the Red Bull guy, Felix Baumgartner. It's
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So there'll be three launch vehicles going up in balloons, and on one of the vehicles there'll be a Monster Party plushie because it's amusing. On the other one, there'll be some lasers for holography, so there'll be a holographic laser display, and then with some messaging, and it'll have the Monster Party logo, all with the backdrop of the troposphere and space and whatnot. And then the third vehicle will have a screen that will display the NFTs. And so basically, these balloons go up, and they'll the footage that will be recorded and whatnot, and and basically they'll go up as high as they can until the pressure becomes such that the balloons burst, and then they'll come back down to Earth. So we'll lay the claim to be the first generative art NFT project in space. So
Yeah, that's pretty up there. That's pretty spacey right there. So you're sending a plushie, some holograms, and what was the last one?
a screen, like your laptop screen or an iPad or that kind of thing, that'll display all 10,000 NFTs for the very first time.
How much did that cost?
Um, Quite a lot. Upwards of $100,000.
$100,000. Insane. I kind of like it though. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, what do you do as the first of anything? Oh, you put the first NFT in space. Monster Party.
Yeah, I mean that's basic. And for
So,
me, I'm just like, okay, everyone's going on about historical significance. For me, you cannot top what we're doing with this project. Like, no, no,
yeah.
no one will ever be able to say, apart from with this project, I have bought the first generative art NFT project that was ever displayed in space.
Well, how much are these arts going for the first minting?
Mm, Good question. We sort of deliberated around price. I think around, is it 0.5 BNB? I think 0.5 BNB,
Point 0.5 BNB, huh?
something like that. Yeah, no, around. Yeah, I should know, shouldn't I? I think it was like
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think for the whitelisters it was 250, and for the non-whitelisters was 300 or $350. So about half a BNB.
Oh, it's a little more than half. $300. It's a little more than half. Shoot, at that price, I'll buy it. No problem. I'll buy it. I'll pick up a space NFT. Can I need a cowboy monster. That's what I need. I need a lizard brain cowboy monster. Hopefully, there's one for me.
Well, there's definitely some cowboy hat monsters in there.
That's what I want right there. I will rock that on Twitter if I find it.
Awesome.
So cool. All right. So what? I got two more questions here. What's the next biggest catalyst besides the launch for Monster Party, which is November 9? After that, what am I looking for?
Um, we will rest a little bit after launch. This has
Hmm.
been a very, very intense last 6 to 8 weeks.
What's been the most intense part about it?
I mean, I think it for me, it's sort of we're perhaps a little understaffed, but managing the two projects. There's obviously the Cake Monster protocol, and then there's this NFT project, and um, I do a bit of everything. I do some front end development, most of the design, as in like web design and whatnot. Um, I was really I am for certain. I've been the project manager for Monster Party. Um, I do quite a bit of marketing as well, obviously our own organic marketing. So just sort of um, just the development has just taken a long, long time. A lot of QA.
The juggling, the hours, the understaffed people. That's all just catching up to you, right?
Yeah, yeah, and most of us have full time jobs as well, and so we're
Yeah.
we're working a full time job, and then afterwards immediately working for 8 hours on the project and whatnot. So yeah, just a lot of work, a lot of 15, 16 hour days every weekend.
Wow.
I mean, I've not had a day off where I've done, I've not had a day where I've done less than 3 or 4 hours of work for on this particular project for probably two
Wow.
months now.
How big is your staff?
Mm, we've got um, three developers, a couple that can write, a couple that write Solidity, the main contract dev, of course, and then another front end dev who's been learning Solidity and he's really good, and then a couple of front end guys, one of those being me. Um, probably in total, including mods who are all sort of part of a mini like internal team and whatnot. Maybe like 15 people, something.
Awesome. Cool. Cool. Sweet. So okay, so I think I got what what I need here. Look, if you're watching this video so far, you got check them out, right? Links are in the description. Make your own call for yourself. You saw a little bit of the website. Check out. Don't forget Cake Monster, the DeFi protocol that all that we talked about in the beginning, because it's interlinked. They're married together. So make sure you check them all out. Look, if this is something for you, this is, you make that call. You do your own research. You make that call. I am not your financial advisor, okay? I'm just a lizard brain, gorilla arm, diamond handed cowboy, okay? So, yeah, if you could feel like you want to invest in Cake Monster, Monster Party, that's all on you. Look, Byron, thank you so much for being on the in the hot seat today. Hopefully, you don't feel too grilled by all the questions that I've been throwing at you, but I think it was pretty good. I got one last question here. If someone's on the fence, they're not really entirely sure about Monster Party, what is one last thing you could tell them? Why should you be investing, looking at, and buying up some Monster Party NFTs?
Okay. There are a couple of things. One, it's all fundamentally backed up and underpinned by what is the greatest deflationary protocol on Binance Smart Chain, and that is something that any other NFT project cannot say. Um, And of course, the other thing, I mean, aside from all the play to earn things and awesome metaverse integrations and whatnot that we're going to be doing, is basically the historical significance of owning an NFT that was first displayed in space. That is a piece of history that no one else will ever be able to claim. Um, and we've seen this surge of popularity in meme tokens and whatnot, and we're so much more than a meme token. Everyone knows Cake Monster, the character, and it's a super cute character, more memeable and in my opinion, more memeable and cuter than Shiba and Flocky and whatnot. And we have cartoons and all kinds of things that the community is exceptionally creative, and they're the coins that we're going after with Cake Monster. We want to be reaching those heights of Flocky and Shiba, and we think that we can do it, and we have the character to do it and the underlying protocol to do it. And these NFTs are basically going to be the face of the entire thing. So
Awesome. Awesome. Byron, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you guys so much for watching this far into the video. Look, like I said, don't overthink things. Get into projects that you've done research in that are just good and solid projects that you trust and you believe in. Other than that, guys, have a lizard brain, gorilla arm, diamond hands, cowboys rolled together. Be sure to hit up the saloon. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like this video so far, it was helpful, give us a like on this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.